Hi, I'm Dr. Erika Bruner, and the question I'm going to answer today is it okay to feed people food to my pet? And usually when people ask me this question, they're asking it very sheepishly, feeling like they must be doing something wrong or that people food is junk food and the best pet food is commercially prepared pet food. I actually believe that the opposite is true. I believe that the best food for our pets is home prepared food. It's just simple. It's pretty clear that for ourselves, the best food is fresh food, something that we get straight from the garden or the farmer's market or the grocery store, and that we cook up in our own homes and we eat right away. It has just much less opportunity to lose all those good nutrients that it has in it. And in the same way, the best food for our pets is less processed. If I were to go to the doctor's office and ask them, what's the best food to feed my daughter? And they just chunked a bag of some kind of dried kibble on the table and said, here, this is it. This is everything she needs. I would doubt that. I would be thinking, what about the fresh vegetables? The same is true for our pets. And generally, they really like home prepared food better than commercially prepared food in a lot of cases. So it can be helpful to us, especially with older pets, especially pets that we're really trying to get to eat more. Pets with cancer have muscle mass loss. There's lots of reasons why we want to try to increase our pet's appetite, and also reasons why we want to feed them the best food nutritionally possible. And that's true through their whole lives, but it's also true just at the end of their lives. If you have been feeding commercially prepared pet food for your pet's whole life and you decide you want to add in some fresh food kind of as a top dressing to appetize them some, that's great to do. And I've really seen the benefits. After a few months, their coats look better, they seem brighter and happier, and they enjoy eating more. So, if you wanted to feed a completely home prepared diet to your pet, I think that's great to do. You should make sure that the diet is planned, the recipe is made by a board certified veterinary nutritionist. And there's several ways to do this. There's some books out there that have recipes in there. There's also a website that I really like that sells a couple of products that I think are great. They don't pay me anything for this endorsement. I just think that it's something that you should know about. It's called balanceit.com. They sell vitamin and mineral supplements that you add in to the recipes that they have on their website. And they have many, many different recipes for different types of issues, for healthy dogs and cats, kidney disease, liver disease. There's all kinds of different types of recipes there. But using the recipe on the website plus the product that they sell, you can create a complete and balanced meal as designed by a board certified veterinary nutritionist at home. So that's really, in my opinion, one of the simple ways to make a home prepared diet. If you're not prepared to go full on into a home prepared diet, but you still want to add fresh food to your pet's life, I think that's great to do. Any amount is helpful. And so what that might be is that, I've been told that we can replace about a third of the food that we feed as commercially prepared food with fresh food without running into serious risk of nutritional deficiencies. So that would be 2/3 commercially prepared food, take away 1/3 of it and replace that with home prepared food. And one of the simple ways to do the home prepared food, you could just add something from your meal every day. That would be fine, especially if your meal is lower in starch, is higher in protein. Fat, is higher levels of fat are generally well tolerated by cats, but may not be so well tolerated by dogs, especially certain breeds of dogs that are prone to pancreatitis. So as with anything that I ever suggest, you really want to check this out with your veterinarian before implementing it. But another way to add fresh food to your pet's diet that's pretty straightforward is to take some vegetables, just kind of a variety of different colorful vegetables. You might decide to cook them beforehand. You might decide to leave them uncooked. And then shred or grind them up pretty small. You can do this in a food processor, you can do it with a blender. And then when you have this vegetable paste, you can mix it with some ground meat like ground turkey or ground beef and form little patties of that or little meatballs. Set your oven to 375. Put all these meatballs out on a rimmed baking sheet and cook them all at one time. And I believe that in this situation, you should cook them fully. If our pets were to go outside and hunt critters and eat them raw outside, there would be very little risk of bacterial contamination. But that's a different thing from meat from a stockyard or a slaughterhouse being ground and then sitting in plastic for a week maybe, or however long it takes until we get to cook it. That grinding of the meat can distribute any contaminants, any bacterial contaminants, and just the conditions that a lot of meat is raised under and slaughtered under is not quite as ideal for a low level of contamination as is what we might, what your pet would find if they were hunting outside. So, people do talk a lot about raw diets and the benefits of raw diets. My own personal belief is that a lot of the benefit of raw diets comes from the fact that it's fresh food rather than highly processed, commercially prepared food. So in this case, I'm advocating cooking these patties all the way through. And the baking time is going to vary depending on how big your patties are, which is going to vary depending on how big the animal you're cooking for is. But you might need a little trial and error to figure out. It's probably going to be somewhere between 15 to 45 minutes, depending on the size of the meat. But it's easy to open it up and just check and see that everything is fully cooked. You can use an oven thermometer or like a meat thermometer to check also. So once you have all these cooked patties, then you can freeze them and then thaw them individually as needed. So that way you don't have to work, to make a special meal for your pet every time you want to give them some fresh food. So I hope that's useful. If you're interested in my practice, what I do as an acupuncturist and end-of-life care person, veterinarian, you can check it out, my website at heartofvermontvet.com. If you would like to get in touch to schedule a consultation or you have a question for this series, just send me an email, info@heartofvermontvet.com. Thanks.